Sin can transform a man into a terrible monster. The Scarlet Letter, written by Nathaniel Hawthorne, is a prime example of this, when a woman commits a sin that affects many lives, including her own. Roger Chillingworth, the man who she used to call her husband, has been affected by this, and we will tell you why his sin becomes the worst of all.
Hester Prynne was a woman who committed an adulterous crime. Her husband, Roger Chillingworth, decided to take revenge on a man who she committed the crime with. He watches everyone closely and finally closes in on the men. Revered Arthur Dimmesdale, he begins to mess with Dimmesdale's mentally, forcing him to his breaking point. Chillingworth takes pleasure in this. Hester decides she will stop Chillingworth from continuing torture to Dimmesdale. She confronts him.
Roger, I'd like a word with you concerning Sylvester.
Why do you wish to speak to old Roger Chillingworth?
I wish to speak with you because of a secret I swore that I would keep for you, no matter what. But now I've seen that the evil it's done to Dimmesdale, and that it's not right, and that we need to tell him.
Let him be hung in the gallows. It won't be our fault.
It will be our fault because we know, and you've been lurking in the shadows and secretly making his life miserable without him knowing, but he knows someone's there.
For I have seen him in pain, and I have noticed that he may have been of sin many times, but
nothing. It's not right. We need to tell him.
For he should tell him himself, but I will not. I will just keep lurking, and I will just keep watching.
He might as well be dead if we don't tell him. There's no point for him to go on living if there is nothing for him to live for. He's like a ghost walking in the shadows.
For he needs to move on with his life. He doesn't need to stay and be in sin and be guilty all his life. If he wishes to move on, he can just tell the world of his sin and move on.
It's not only you. It's not only Dimmesdale who is making this awful. It's you and I both.
Or if that shall be, then leave me now.
Let the black flower blossom as it may.
Roger Chillingworth's sin was the most unexcusable because it was a malicious attack on other people's lives. At the end of the book, Dimmesdale dies, leaving Chillingworth with no one left to prey on. So, Chillingworth in the end also passes away. It's because he lost his sense of living. In the end, he also leaves his inheritance to Pearl, showing that at the end of his life he did become the man he once was. Pearl went on to move to Europe and had a family of her own. Hester, meanwhile, came back to Boston and died there where her sin was once committed.
Like fire, hellfire, this fire in my skin.